Hi Libra, Sun, Moon, and Rising. This is going to be your general mini cross reading for February 2021. I have already done some meditation and shuffling on your sign. I did have a card present itself while I was doing so. So let me turn the camera around and let's get started with the reading. Okay. I had the Hierophant present himself, and he presented himself reversed. So the first thing I'm going to do is read to you the meanings of the Hierophant reversed, okay? I think that's important because the Hierophant can be someone rather difficult to deal with when they show up in their reversed energy. He is a 5. He represents Taurus and Venus. Taurus represents your, the second house, represents your values and value systems and your personal finances, all right? Venus is the ruler of relationships. So Venus wants everything to be beautiful and lovely. Venus is also your ruler, so Venus co-rules both Taurus and Libra. But Venus can be kind of manipulative. Let me put it that way, okay? But always trying to be based upon what's fair, if that makes any sense. So the reverse meaning of the Hierophant: misinformation, bad advice, rebellion, weakness, gullibility, the need for self-discipline, and tolerance. The reverse symbolizes dogmatism and inflexibility, extreme conformity or conventionalism. When it appears reversed, it tells of someone who has a keen sense of originality. This person is not afraid to undertake new ventures and explores all options with an open mind and is quite a free spirit. It is asking that you not be afraid to speak your truths, whether you are afraid or not, and to follow through with your plans. Have the courage of your convictions. It may be indicating that some new and refreshing vibrations are on their way into your life. This will usher in some positive opportunities for you to take up if you so choose. It can tell of an unwillingness to accept change, and this is what is preventing you from moving ahead in life. It can indicate that advice given may not be reliable, or that the nature of the problem is such that the advice is inappropriate. It suggests that you would do well not to offer any advice at this time, as you would not cope well if blamed for giving the wrong advice if things were to not work out. It is warning you not to partake in any gossip or rumor mongering, which could be labeled as slander, as this will come back to bite you in the future. Be cautious of negative thoughts and impulses over the next 5 to 6 months, as putting these into action may have far-reaching consequences for you. This is certainly a good time to think rather than to act or speak your mind. It depicts a wise teacher, but he can bring with him an unnecessary desire for social approval. The reversed Hierophant may tell of someone who feels that if a new person were to appear on the horizon, every effort should be made to impress them. It depicts rebellion against traditions, unconventional thinking, and a belief set or mindset. All right? And that whole thing about somebody new showing up on the scene and somebody wanting to impress them, this can be the person who, remember I was talking about Venus, how she likes things to be beautiful and, you know, to look a certain way. So this could literally be someone who's more concerned with the appearance of things rather than the way things really are. All right? So I'm going to give another shuffle, and this is where we are at the moment. Oh, well, this is our unknown influence. Oh, isn't that interesting? So definitely something new coming in for you, as the reverse Hierophant states. What we know, the 3 of Swords. That's interesting. Almost as if the 3, and I'll show you in a second. The near distant past, the High Priestess. Now, many people assume that the High Priestess and the Hierophant are mates. They are not. The High Priestess is the mate to the Magician. because they are both people who can they can change their circumstances and the physical outcomes of things through magic, through thought, through study, through focusing the will and the intention. Okay, what the near or distant future? The Seven of Swords. There's that card, perhaps, of rumor mongering, telling lies, making up stuff. Now, I have seen the Seven of Swords show up in two other very, very different ways. One is it can depict a house move, which I never see this in that card, but that I'm going to give you that interpretation because someone way back in the day noticed that pattern. And the next thing that it can represent is the idea of rushing around and not paying attention to the things that you need to pay attention to. Okay, so I have two swords, a High Priestess and a Hierophant reversed, and then an Ace of Pentacles. What is underneath the deck? The Nine of Pentacles lady. And I always like to see her because she is someone who has been able to ignore all of the white noise that comes in. She stayed focused on whatever her goal was. She's achieved some things for herself, and she did it through just sheer determination and hard work. And now she's in a position to enjoy the fruits of her labor. Okay. Again, I'm going to mention this house move because there's a snail here. And there are only, a few animals that I know of that kind of take their homes with them when they move. And that's, tortoises and turtles, snails, armadillos, hedgehogs, those kinds of things. So I always get this sense of someone maybe moving. Now, from this Seven of Swords to this 3 leaves me 4 swords. Okay. And the 4 swords is always the card to counsel to kind of take a step back, to do some mental reflection, to take a step back, remove yourself from a situation so that you can have some clarity of thought and even a bit of physical rest. Sometimes we're involved in situations with people that can create an enormous amount of stress, right? And so sometimes you do need to take a step back. What I am going to do is to look, because what I see is this opportunity, this new path that is presented to you. Now, that's the thing about any ace. Aces represent the excessive degree of anything. So this could be some kind of new financial project that is coming up, but it can also simply be a new way of doing things. But it's just that. It's an opportunity. It doesn't mean it's going to come to fruition. You got to be in place and ready to go when it comes up. So my question is, what is this Seven of Swords and what does it have to do with this reversed Hierophant and this High Priestess? Sometimes I've seen this card show up when it's like something's going on, right? But you haven't said anything yet. And the idea that this card counsels you to keep your mouth closed at the time, this could be telling you that this is what that you have done it already, or that you're going to be required to do it. And it is based upon something that you know from the past. This card can sometimes be secrets, okay? I don't get the sense necessarily, and maybe, I'm going to say, honestly, this could also be because the Hierophant himself represents a marriage, a contractual issue, some type of negotiations, that this could be another female that you don't know anything about, okay? And when given the opportunity to do the right thing, someone doesn't. So let me get my cards out, my book, I'm sorry, and see what I can look at the Ace, the 7, and the 3 of Swords as they relate to these 2 cards, okay? So let me start with the Ace of Pentacles to see what it tells me. I don't know why the cups are way back here. What am I looking at? Pentacles? Yeah, hold on. That's weird. I think it's something I saw that said cups, but that's not the cups. It's the pentacles. So the Ace of Pentacles. With the 3 of Swords. It is a message to carefully consider your plans, as becoming involved in an unclear situation may lead to ongoing duress, as you may be taking on more than you can handle. See, the cards don't lie. They have no reason to lie. Okay? They don't. And this is what this card is. I was telling you that this could be some type of situation that you don't know anything about, but you're going to get an opportunity. You kind of know something's not right, and you're going to get an opportunity to do something about it, or someone's going to be given an opportunity to take a new path on this, but I don't think they're going to do that. All right? So let me see about the Three of Swords, what it has to say. Those are the cups. These are the wands. These are the swords. Here we are. The Three of Swords. Doesn't tell me anything next to these two cards. Now, there's another meaning of the Three of Swords that says that if you've been waiting on a message, okay, that message is on its way. So if you've been waiting on some important mail, information, or documents, this card tells you that it is on the way. Right? And that's something you don't often hear about the Three of Swords, but somebody a long time ago recognized that. So and actually the way the energy feels is that it's going this way, okay? Not this way, but it starts here and goes this way, all right? So this is almost like the past reaching back into the future. So let me take a look at the Seven of Swords, and I'm going to pull some cards on that for you. Let's see. Doesn't tell me anything, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the Seven of Swords for you. And then I'm going to look at this High Priestess to see what she's trying to tell me. Now, I don't know if the initials B or J or B and J. I've sometimes seen it show up as L and B, or T and B. Okay. More though, it looks like a J. So if those initials mean anything, there you have it. Let's look at this Seven of Swords. Wow. And this came out reversed. I'm going to turn it up right side up. But it came out, let's say it came out reversed. The negative, falsità. A lie on top of a lie. The limineo. Now, what is interesting about the falsito is reverse. It is not as bad as it is right side up. And the riunione. Well, most definitely something has not gone right in this situation. Will you get a chance to fix it? Perhaps. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it will be a reconciliation in the sense that it's going to go exactly the way you want it to go. Okay? I would be remiss in giving that type of information without knowing the full, accurate, complete story, because this, it may not go this way for everybody. The Mercante, King of Coins. The Disgrazia. Wow. And the Reverse Doctore. Well, that is very interesting because it's kind of repeating itself. Okay. The Mercante is can be a business person. He's going to be someone who is not wealthy by birth, but may have some things because he's been shrewd and quite aggressive in business. So he has some business acumen and business sense. But we see this Disgrazia here, which is almost like a tower card. It has a different significance. But, look at that. Look at the image of that. It's on fire. there's some what look to be almost like matches here. Okay, so it can say that it's an explosive situation. So let's see what the disgrazia has to tell us. It is a swords card, another 7 of swords. I just get the sense that you already know what this is about, and you just haven't said anything yet. And so the reverse Hierophant is telling you to, speak whatever your truth is. Don't be afraid to do so. Okay? Sometimes we have to say things to get to the truth of the situation. The card is called Tragedy. And it says that it foretells a great period of turbulence is about to enter your life. The arrival of a traumatic event for which you may apparently be blameless, caused by outside events and people. Now, it says that however superficially you would have been, even if unknowingly, involved in the materialization of such an occurrence in your life. Okay? And in that case, the card says that usually you don't deserve what happens to you. Or, it says that more often than not, however, it implies that you have failed to learn from past mistakes, or that a mistake from the past is coming to exact payment in the present. You will feel as though a hapless victim of circumstance and completely powerless. It indicates a drastic and radical change for the worse. Something will never return to the way it used to be. It is the card of accidents, even violent ones with dangerous and even fatal outcomes. So particular attention and care needs to be paid if it indicates, there's no transport. This card tells me that someone's been giving you some bad advice. Okay? I don't know if it's this guy, but somebody's been given some bad advice. Now, in personal relationships, it heralds painful and sudden separations, violence, the loss of a friend or family member, bereavement, and the traumatic, unexpected loss of a loved one. It can represent fire and anything that explodes. Okay? It is connected to the element of abruptness and intensity. In financial matters, it heralds a sudden and unexpected dismissal, repossessions, foreclosure, embezzlement, bankruptcy, and problems with the tax man. Now, that's what that says on this High Priestess. This reversed Doctore, and there are 2 kings here. There's a King of Coins and a King of Wands. Okay? The Doctore is usually someone who has a degree and someone who has a specialized field of knowledge, right? So he can be a lawyer or a doctor, and it usually represents specialist help. But reversed, this card is a red flag because it represents someone who is not to be trusted. This person is in a position of authority and influence and has the power to alter your life for the worse. It represents a seedy situation of vice and depravity. It can also point to incorrect professional advice from a lawyer or a doctor or any person of professional standing that is offering his services to you. This person can easily abuse their position of trust and can switch sides and use information gained in confidence against you. It acts as a serious warning that someone is receiving bad professional advice. At best, this advice can also originate from a trusted person, such as a friend or relative, who does not mean to mislead, but does so nonetheless by wanting to impose his views and control over the situation, such as an overbearing authority figure. It can indicate that help received will not be sufficient to get you out of the situation. The card is an indication of someone who offers help with an agenda. It is someone who can make you stray from your life purpose and lead you further and further down a path of failure and perdition. In worst case scenarios, it can indicate someone who has been broken by a traumatic event and is beyond saving, someone who has damaged goods. Financially, it points to someone not to be trusted, indicates having chosen the wrong strategy to achieve something, someone who is after one's job, bad advice, a lack of preparation, a bad investment, a contract to beware of, a loan shark, or a con man. In love, it points to insincere feelings, perversions, betrayal, and lies. It is indicative of an abusive partner who will have a negative influence over your life. It says that the man will turn out to be completely different from the way he appeared to be on first contact. Okay? It is a warning of difficult times ahead and indicates unwillingness on your part to listen to sound advice, or that you have been listening to incorrect advice instead. It indicates that you are not trying hard enough to overcome this, and that this is the cause of much of your present and future misery, because it points to a lack of willpower or to a disinterest of improving oneself. Now, over here, we have the reversed falsità. And as I said, the falsità reverse is not as bad. It's still bad, but it's not as bad as it would be right side up, because it indicates that the machinations of a false person will be uncovered and someone's true colors will be revealed. It foretells of plots and schemes against you that go awry, or that a period of difficulty will end. If it is found in the middle of a spread, no, it only says that if it's at the end or at the middle. Financially, it can indicate prosperity, assets, and property, a source of stable income and looking to invest property. Often, it denotes a person who is attached to money and who is slow or unwilling to help others in a financial way. Now, in love, it heralds the discovery of a secret and the true motives of a person who affects a relationship in a negative way. Now, sometimes this can be you. It indicates that you will be able to chase away your adversaries and or negative forces in a successful way. And it denotes the strength to fight against negativity and a curious and intelligent mind. This is a card of contracts. It does speak to marriages. But what is marriage if not a contractual issue, right? But then we have this reversed Riunione card. And I want to read that for you. That is a 3 of wands, so to speak, 3 of clubs. And this card says, reversed. Hold on. It's not the 3, it is the 8. Oh my God, I've got new cards, but I just refuse to use them. In this card, it represents disagreements, bitter arguments, and separations in any relationship. It indicates failure to compromise, stubbornness, having difficulty seeing beyond the end of one's nose or one's own point of view, even pride and litigiousness. More often than not, this card indicates that the problem arises within you and that it is not necessarily the other person's fault. But it can also represent someone who is not firm enough and lets others walk all over them. It can represent an enabler, someone who, by not being firm enough, does nothing to prevent bad behavior in another to be repeated time and time again. It can represent a dark period of depression, demotivation, and a lack of self-esteem and confidence in the ability to succeed. Now, it tells me that whatever cards are near it will indicate the area in which you're having this problem. And here I have the clubs, which says that it will be a transitory thing and easy to snap out of. But I also have here the diamonds, a financial, material possessions and affairs. Now, it says the card can represent feelings of guilt or of inner instability due to the pangs of remorse. It represents indecision, mood swings, and a lack of interest in improving your situation. But it can also indicate that it is likely to spiral out of control, that you have come to a crossroads in life and you need to make an important decision that is causing you to waver in your resolution. Now, it says, in legal matters, it indicates a judgment made against you or complications with the law are ahead, such as the arrival of a court summons, but not necessarily something of grave import. It represents a meeting that does not turn out as expected or that ends up in a disagreement or argument of some kind. If you did expect to find dissension and disagreement at the meeting, then you may be pleasantly surprised. It indicates feeling unwelcome in an environment and a lack of acceptance, okay, as for like the in-laws, for example. So I do get the sense that this is some type of marital issue. and that somebody's giving you some bad advice. They're either lying to you, okay? They're not being honest, they're not being truthful, and I think you know it. And so this is the kind, if this is a situation in which the person is abusive, you're going to be given an opportunity, all right, to change this. But the person can always come back and say to you, oh, I didn't mean it. I'm so sorry. It'll never happen again. Please don't trust that. Okay? Now, I want you to formulate a question. Oh, there it is for the Golden Nostradamus. Let's see what it is. It is the anchor, stability, longevity, security. But also, it could be an anchor around your neck where it's just weighing you down, right? If I'm not mistaken, this is the last card in this deck, and it says, do not dream of a pie in the sky. You can only fall when flying high. Continue along your path and do not veer off the beaten track. Change will not be favorable at this time, and you are not ready. You should decide to be cautious and balanced. And I feel that this is what this card is saying. This is how you used to be. And whether you know it or not at this particular point in time, you still have it. Okay. You're still grounded like this, and you have a lot more, I think, than what you may be aware of at the time. So if this is somebody new coming into your life, you want to be cautious, because the person could only want to be with you because of what you have to offer them. Okay? Either way, definitely it's telling me that there's some shenanigans happening here, some kind of chicanery, trickery, deception. So do be careful, okay? And so until next time, Libra, Sun, Moon, and Rising, please stay safe, and namaste.